Hey guys, it's Megan. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. In today's video, I am so excited because I have been wanting to do this video for a long time. And I know that I'm not the only one that deals with oxidation. Now, there's many foundations out there that are so awesome, but we can't use them because they oxidize. And there's a lot of factors that play into it, like the environment or how our skin reacts with a certain product, or sometimes it's just the ingredients in the products that just don't like us. And I went online and I found a couple of tips, tricks, or hacks, if you will, that are supposed to help prevent or help take down the, the oxidation, kind of sort of lessen that effect. So that's what we're gonna do today. And if you guys get a chance, please like and subscribe by the time you get to the end. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So what I want to do now is kind of get into what oxidation is and the tips and tricks that I have read through or kind of learned about. And what I'm going to do is apply everything that I've learned to one side of my face, and then on the other side I'm going to leave it bare to see if there is any comparable difference in the two sides. And what oxidation is basically it's a chemical reaction between your skin and the environment. That could be like humidity in the air, that could be which area you're in, like if you're in a city, there's more smog, stuff like that. And it can also be how your skin personally is and how it reacts. So if you have oily skin, in my experience, I've had a little bit more experiences with oxidation because I do have an oily T-zone, and some days, like when I was younger, I had very oily skin. So my skin would always turn like Oompa Loompa orange, and it was so super frustrating. So one of the things that I did read is that if you are oily, you definitely want to apply a mattifying primer, and if you're dry, you want to apply like a more hydrating primer. Now the primer is really important because that is going to be like a physical barrier between your skin and the outside environment, environmental factors. And if you have combination skin, I read that you want to apply a mattifying primer to places that you're oily and hydrating primer to the places that you are dry. I read that it's best to use a silicone-based primer because that provides more of a barrier. And another option is to use a primer or foundation that has antioxidants in it, because things that have antioxidants in it are supposedly supposed to fight free radicals, and that kind of fights off any environmental sort of outside forces, and it's supposed to, I guess, create more of a barrier, fight off more of that outside force. So since I can't use a silicone primer due to breakouts, you can see I tried one right there and it didn't go good. I always try and it always comes back to haunt me, but I'm going to be using a primer with antioxidants in it. Another thing is, I read you definitely want to balance the pH of your skin. So everybody's skin reacts differently. You know what works best for you. But for me, I'm going to be using a toner. So you want to tone your face and get everything off of it. And I'm just using a gentle toner that's going to wipe off anything that I do have. Another thing is you want to blot before you apply your foundation, and one of the last things you want to do is apply a translucent powder. Now, I did read that if you apply like pigmented powder, like the MAC Studio Fix Press powder or whatever, that depending on your skin, whatever works for you or doesn't work for you, it tends to have more of a reaction. So I read that if you use a good translucent powder over the top of your foundation, now you could probably apply that pigmented powder after the translucent powder to see how that works, but today I'm just going to be doing a translucent powder to see how it works. I'm going to test all of these things out exactly from what I read, apply it to one side of my face, and then from there you can kind of play and whatever. But I definitely want to do these specific things that I did read about just to see if there is a difference. So let's go ahead and get started on that. Alright, so I have my toner here. I just use this acne-free stuff. Honestly, I get it from Target, and it has worked so awesome with my skin. It's super gentle. It helps fight off. I've had like 10 times less breakouts with this stuff, and it comes in a pack. So I'm just going to use this little, it's alcohol-free toner. I'm just going to put it on a little cotton puff here, and I'm just going to do, let's do the right side of the face since I have a nice little breakout here. And I'm just going to tone this side. I haven't done anything to my skin whatsoever today. Splashed some water on it, washed it this morning, but that's it. Make sure it's nice and toned, and the good thing with this stuff is that it isn't harsh, so it kind of suits my skin as it cleans it at the same time. Okay, so I'm just going to let that dry. And I also did see that if you apply a moisturizer, for those of you who do have dry skin, it said to wait like 15 to 20 minutes. So really quick, I'm going to apply moisturizer. I'm going to give it that time to completely soak in, and then I will be right back. Alright, I'm back. Everything is completely soaked in and we are good to go. The next step that is recommended is to blot the face to take off any like extra oil or moisture or anything from that moisturizer, from your skin, whatever you have. So it says to take a one-ply piece of like toilet paper. I'm sure you can use the blotting papers or whatever, but I'm just going to take toilet paper here, tear it in half, and I'm just going to blot this side of my face. And it says you just kind of want to take off as much excess product from moisturizer as you can. And for me, I have most of my oily parts right in the middle here. Every now and then I'll get some right here, but just for good measure, I'm going to do the whole right side of my face. So the next thing that you want to do is apply that primer. So for those of you who can use those silicone-based primers, I'm super jealous. I wish I could use it, but I can't. So I'm just going to be using a primer that has antioxidants in it, and it is my, sorry, I'm opening it up, my Farsali Unicorn Essence. I just did a review on this. I'm still on the fence about it, but I have noticed like an improvement in my skin tone, so I'm going to continue using it. But this stuff claims to have antioxidants in it, and it's got to have something if it's improving my skin tone. So I'm just going to apply that to the side of my face all over. And then it also said to give it a minute to let your primer soak in as well. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and apply this really quick all over. Putting on a pretty decent layer because I do want there to be that physical barrier, and being that this is a water-based primer, it will soak in more as opposed to a silicone-based primer just sitting on your skin. So I do want to apply a decent amount so that there is some sort of barrier there. Now that my primer has soaked in, it also says to blot again. I know this is kind of like a lengthy process, but once you like get into the groove of doing it, it could totally pay off. So you want to take a blotting sheet again and soak off any excess oil that the product may have left behind. So the product should already be soaked into the skin really well, so you're just kind of taking off any oils in that product on the face. And I personally would, wherever you get oily, I would probably leave this blotting sheet just a tad bit longer. Like for me, I usually get, like I said, oily in the T-zone area, so I'm kind of going over these areas just a tad bit more, just for good measure. Okay, so now it is foundation time, and what I'm going to be using is my Covergirl Clean Matte BB Cream. You'll see in like a lot of my videos I use a lot of the same products because I do I like to use things that I'm familiar with so that I can really test things out properly. Usually if I am using a newer product or something I'm not really familiar with, it's kind of hard for me to judge. So I did want to use this stuff, and I know that this stuff oxidizes on me, and it sucks because it's really affordable. It's like one of the best drugstore BB cream foundations that I've seen from the drugstore in a long time. It's great for those of you with oily skin, and it doesn't look cakey. So this stuff is really awesome, but the only downside is that it does oxidize. So I definitely want to use this stuff. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to quickly apply it to my face, and I will be right back. Alright, the rest of my foundation is done, and I have let that soak in for, I'd say, about 5 to 10 minutes, just to make sure it's completely dried down. And the next thing you want to do is blot again. So again, products do have, whether they say oily or not, they do have some sort of oil in it. I mean, not necessarily an oil, but a lot of foundations do have silicones in them. A lot of them have other things that kind of give them, there's always something in it. So you definitely want to blot out anything that may be left sitting on the skin from the foundation. So we want to make sure all of that is soaked up. Again, if you're oily, I would try to focus more on the areas that you are oily in. For me, T-zone yet again. Chin sometimes, it just kind of depends for me on the day. And the very last step that you want to do is apply a very good translucent powder. Now they do have some at the drugstore. I haven't personally tested any yet that I like, but I did do a review on the Urban Decay Velvetizer here. It doesn't break me out. I know how it works, and it's overall a really good translucent powder. I've heard, I think, what is it, NYX? Like Target makes some. I need to try it, but I've heard that one is really good. So if you can't afford, you know, the Urban Decay or whatever, there are some affordable options. So you definitely want to get a decent quality one. I'm just dipping my brush in here. Make sure it's more finely milled as well, I read. Because for whatever reason, I can't really exactly remember why they suggested the translucent powder over other ones. I don't know if it has to do, it has something to do with like the ingredients or something like that, that it's less likely to react to the oils in your skin and outside forces, etc. So I'm just going through, tapping off any excess because I don't want to look like cake face. And I know I have like blemishes and stuff poking through. I'm not usually one to really hide a lot of my blemishes unless I'm really going out, so please do overlook that. For the sake of this video and today, I'm just kind of going a little bit lighter today. Alright, so I am done. All of my makeup has officially set in and everything. And for good measure, it didn't say to do this, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to blot one more time on this side. Just for good measure. And then I'm going to go about my day. I'm going to insert a clip of my foundation at the beginning and my foundation at the very end to see if these tips and tricks actually did work. And you know, if it doesn't work, sometimes it's not our skin. Sometimes it is just the ingredients that go into these products. Like Covergirl is one. That's why I really wanted to test this foundation, because I know for a fact this one oxidizes on me. Maybelline's another one. Clinique's another one. The Stila Stay All Day foundation is one that I just can't come back from that. Like, that is just one I absolutely cannot wear. And even if I go down 2 shades lighter, I still look like a freaking orange and Oompa. So hopefully this works, and I'm excited to test that out for you guys. And let me know if you guys have any tips or tricks, or if anything has worked for you. I'm totally willing to learn new things. So hopefully this video was helpful for you, and hopefully it's even more helpful if it actually works. So we'll see at the end of the night. But if you enjoyed this video or videos like this, please give it a thumbs up so I know that you liked it, so I can test other hacks, I can test other products and do other looks and etc. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video. Bye.